Okay. The remains of the day, 69 fun facts. Might be asking yourself, how am I going to be able to actually get through 69 facts? But it's okay. I just got to keep my FPS up. Let me give you an example. The Remains of the Day is a novel written by Nobel laureate Kazuo Ishiguro and published in 1989 by Faber and Faber in the UK and Knopf in the US. That's 6 facts right there. There you go. It's not going to be a problem. So my FPS right now is at 6. It's a pretty good rate. Shouldn't be an issue. The novel has won several honors, most notably the Booker Prize for Fiction in its year of publication, and inclusion in the reading list for the Queen's Platinum Jubilee in 2012. What do you know? 3 more facts. Boom! 4.5 FPS. Let's go. Thanks, Anthony. Moving on. The main character, Mr. Stevens, is a butler at Darlington Hall, initially in service to Lord Darlington, and later to the American businessman, Mr. Faraday. That's a whole 9 facts? I lost track, actually. It's a large number of 7 facts, something like that. I don't know. Anyway, luckily, we got Stevens actually on the case. He's keeping track. It's good. So let's move on. Mr. Stevens, the butler, is a man with many foibles. In particular, he is fundamentally unwilling to confront the many indignities he and his staff are subjected to at the hands of his employer and the English class system more broadly. Even so, it's hard to deny that Stevens does attain some of that ineffable dignity he strives for by means of his career in service to unworthy masters. Right, okay, yeah, that's 1 fact. Fair, okay. Moving on, let's get back to facts. Okay, The Remains of the Day was adapted into a 1993 film, directed by James Ivory and starring Anthony Hopkins and Emma Thompson. It was nominated for 8 Academy Awards, including Best Picture, Best Actress, and Best Actor, though it didn't actually win any of those. And we're back on track, baby. That 5 is that magic number. If you can stay over 5, you're going to be doing all right here, so let's keep it moving. Stevens is by no means radical. He's quite conservative, actually, occasionally harmfully so. But recognizing the brutality of a system one is subject to is not an option for some, emotionally or intellectually. And while Stevens is not to be forgiven for his more cowardly acts, it is fair to accord him some leniency at the end of his story by virtue of his steadfast commitment to dignity. Right, yeah, there's no facts in there. Okay, no worries. Just bring it back. We're going to bring it back. Maybe I should focus on some poignant facts. Stevens' father was also a butler, and Stevens cites him as an example of one of history's greats. His father continues working as an under-butler until his death on the job, days after collapsing from what Dr. Meredith attributes to overwork. Yeah, so we're back on track. It's good. Stevens' brand of dignity is plainly self-destructive, as this line in his diary indicates, and I quote, it's very sad, "There is one situation and one situation only in which a butler who cares about his dignity may feel free to unburden himself of his role. That is to say, when he is entirely alone." It's very sad. He does keep a diary, it's true. I guess it's implied. Thanks, Stevens. You gave me an extra fact there. I don't think I really earned it, but that's okay. Moving on. The tragedy of Stevens' grotesque, misguided, and yet still beautiful commitment to dignity is no clearer than in his non-romance with the head housekeeper of Darlington Hall, Miss Kenton, with whom a relation seems possible and is arguably actually present in the subtext, but who ultimately leaves Darlington Hall to marry a former butler who left service for an unspecified career in business. We're on 38. It's pretty good. Time, it's not looking too great, actually. I got to keep moving. It may seem strange to describe Stevens' obsession with dignity as anything other than a generational curse and a grievous character flaw, but it's important to remember its context, which is the demeaning class system he too is a victim of. To deny Stevens his dignity is to accept the will of the legacy system that dignity be the sole purview of the well-born who are allowed to sacrifice their lives for the great issues of the day. Stevens' commitment to his craft is worthy of respect, despite its ultimate futility. And that's a lesson for all of us here, scrounging up whatever dignity we can in a life under capitalism. Right. Yeah, it was said in the 1950s. That's true. Okay, Stevens is plainly an unreliable narrator, but... Fuck. Yeah, it's a good point. It's a good point. Okay, it's my fault. It's my fault. I'm gonna do facts now. How about the number of times each letter shows up in the book? Yeah, okay, here's how many times the letters of the alphabet appear in the book. Wow, only 190 Z's? What was Kazuo thinking? There's a lot of analysis there. Okay, 23 more facts. 23 most common words in the book. Look at that. Me and not. They show up exactly 533 times. Wow. Is this an ARG? Did Kazuo-san leave us a remains of the day ARG that nobody has discovered yet? Okay, thanks. That's my talk. 69 facts about remains of the day. You're now equipped to talk about remains of the day. But more importantly, I've given you the tools to speak intelligently about any work of art out there. So get out there and win some arguments. Peace.